Ms. Legalista, aka Attorney Sheila here, bringing you another short form complaint. This time I'm doing something different though, and this is not something that I've seen in a lot of the complaints. This particular short form complaint has to do with uterine fibroids. Now, in the past, most of the short form complaints that I've taken a look at had to do with cancer. And you had someone with cancer and chemotherapy and another person with cancer. But this is the first time I'm actually talking about uterine fibroids and a hysterectomy. So let's jump in. Yeah. This person is actually out of Georgia, I believe, and this is a short form complaint. This is a short form complaint and jury demand. The defendant is L'Oreal, and I've talked a little bit about them before. If you have not seen some of my other videos, definitely go back and take a look. There's a really long one. It's about an hour and a half that goes over the full complaint. And then there's a shorter one that where, well, you hear a lot from some of the women who've experienced some injuries as a result of, am I gonna go there? I don't know. In any case, you can also take a look at the short form template that's not filled out for the complaint. It's empty, but I'm providing these so that you can see how other people have filled them out and consider whether or not this is something that you want to do. Here, our defendant, as I said, is L'Oreal. One of the things that I noticed first off about this particular complaint is it looks like maybe they did not just download the form because of the way that the things are actually typed in and the line's not there. It's not just somebody went in and typed in the information. It does look like this was sort of redone. The person's name is listed here. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about 1 and 2. This is this is a little different in terms of how to fill this out, because if you look at this, you actually have to put it up against a short form complaint template to see where the lines are, because the lines aren't here in this one. Normally you would have a line here in front of here and after plaintiff, incorporate by reference. Well, in this case, plaintiff, one plaintiff, but you would have the person's name here. And then on 2, the person's name would be here again. It's sort of hard to tell because they don't have the lines here. Down here where it says Northern District of Georgia, that's her designated venue because that's where she lives. Normally a line would be here. As we scroll down, they did maintain this section that says plaintiff makes this selection based upon one or more of the following factors. Plaintiff currently resides in Lithonia, Georgia. Plaintiff purchased and used defendant's products in Lithonia, Georgia. And again, this is sort of written out. If you go back and look at my video that I did with a form, you will see that there are lines here and that people generally have typed in this information. On the second page, it says the original venue is a judicial district in which a substantial part of the events or omissions giving rise to the claim occurred. And they didn't actually put a district here. If you saw my video on the complaint out of North Carolina, then you know that that person put Middle District of North Carolina here. This person just sort of checked it off. And then further down, it says, for purposes of diversity jurisdiction, plaintiff is a citizen of Georgia. Again, we would typically have a line there. Now, when you get down to 4, this is where you have information about the defendants and where their principal place of business is. Now, remember at the very top where we saw who the defendants were, here where it says L'Oreal, how do you know which product goes with which defendant? Well, there's another chart that's going to lay all of that out for you. Now back to where I was. Plaintiff is suing the following defendants for purposes of diversity, whose state of incorporation, formation, principal place of business is as follows. She has checked off L'Oreal, Delaware, New York, L'Oreal, and it looks like that's the only one that she's checked off. Now, let's scroll down to case-specific facts regarding hair relaxer product use and injuries. In this one, again, normally we've had the blanks here where you just fill in. This person began using hair relaxer products on or about January 1st, 1980, and stopped using hair relaxer products around 1992. And then we'll scroll down. It says, upon information and belief, plaintiff used the following hair relaxer products, which plaintiff contends caused or contributed to her injuries, and brings claims against the following defendants. Now, here's where, if you can remember which products you used, and most of us can because we liked certain products, and once we find a product we like, we tend to stick with it. So she can go through and find the products that she used, and we already know from the defense where she had Revlon listed that we're going to be looking at products under the defendant Revlon. And so we see Revlon starts here, and then we have some others listed here, and then hopefully, well, I'm not seeing where she. Okay, here we go. I missed it. Dark and Lovely, Beautiful Beginnings, Healthy Gloss, Triple Nourished Silkening Relaxer. You guys, I loved these products at the time. They made my hair beautiful. Let's scroll down. So you see which ones she clicked off, and it really looks like that was the only one that she was using. So let's scroll down here to where it says number 7, other manufacturers' products used by plaintiff not identified above, none. Plaintiff use of defendant's hair relaxer products caused serious injuries and damages, including but not limited to the following. So this is the first time where I've seen this information here. Other injuries and or additional details, please specify uterine fibroids. Uterine fibroids. That would be what I would check off also. Approximate date of diagnosis and injury, if applicable at this time, that forms the basis of plaintiff's claim. Plaintiff was diagnosed with uterine fibroids approximately January 1st, 1992, and underwent radiation treatment in 1992 and a hysterectomy in 1992. And yeah, she actually put a little bit more information there. And then you have all of the legal information here, the 15 counts, and she has checked. Let's see how many of these that she has checked. She has checked most of these going into the second. Okay. So this may be someone who's filing on behalf of someone, because as you see here, it says wrongful death, survival action, loss of consortium, punitive damages. Let me scroll back up to the top for just a second. And I was just wanting to see if there was anything there that was saying estate of this person, family was filing this. I don't see that there. And so I'm not sure what's going on here, because it says the following individual alleges damages for loss of consortium and wrongful death. And it says NA for not applicable, but they've checked those off. So I think maybe these are mistakes. So keep in mind as you're going through these, whether or not these actually apply to your situation. It sounds like these may be in error, but I'm not sure. And then it says respectfully submitted on behalf of the plaintiff. And then you have a person here from the Georgia Bar who has submitted it. And then this is the first time I've gone over our civil cover sheet. So let me talk about that, because I did actually talk about that. I mentioned it when I was going over the template, just the form that had not been filled out. I mentioned it in the video, and now we actually have one here. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here, but I'll probably do a separate video just on the civil cover sheet. But as you see at the top, this really just contains information about what the filing is. So you have the plaintiff's name, residence, DeKalb County, the attorney's address. You have the defendants listed and the defendant's county of residence here. And again, that information is right on that chart that we saw. Basis of jurisdiction, and we're going to say diversity here. Citizenship of principal parties, citizen of another state, and you've got incorporated and principal place of business in another state. And this is for diversity cases only. And then we have down here the nature of the suit. Okay, this is kind of like the what happened piece, right? Well, the what happened is I was personally injured. That's what happened. And it falls under healthcare, pharmaceutical, personal injury, product liability. So this is what they have checked off here for personal injury. And then let's scroll down a little more. And origin, multi-district litigation direct file. Now, if you go back to the I'm gonna have to do so many videos on this because different things come up in different videos. I feel like I need to do one on just the one topic. And so I feel like I need to go back and talk about this multi-district litigation piece, which is why you're seeing me talk about different people in different states filing. I've done Iowa. This one is Georgia. I've done North Carolina because they said that a lot of the facts were very similar. We're just going to let everybody who falls within this file. And so this is multi-district, multi-federal districts can file in this litigation. So this is what you have here, multi-district litigation, MDL. Cause of action, diversity, jurisdiction, previous bankruptcy matters, requested and complained. If this is the class act, okay, check. Only if demanded in complaint, yes, because remember at the end of the complaint, well, actually on the first part, it usually says two, but jury demand. So that's what you saw. Plaintiff demands a trial by jury as to all claims in this action. Remember, there were 15 claims in this action. Okay, let's scroll back down to the end here. And then you have, is this a previously dismissed or remanded case? No. And then the attorney who makes the signature, and this is probably being filed electronically. And then they actually have instructions for attorneys who are completing this civil cover sheet here so that they know what they need to do and that they get it right also. There you go. That's the first one I have reviewed where we've actually looked at someone who had uterine fibroids and had a hysterectomy. This person was diagnosed with uterine fibroids and then had a hysterectomy. You see the complaint filled out there. This is out of Georgia. And you see the civil cover sheet, which not necessarily is information you have to know about, but it is information that your attorney has to provide to the court. They have to fill out that cover sheet, and there are instructions for that. So that's it. Again, just keeping you up to speed, what's going on, helping you understand what's going on with this litigation, bringing myself up to speed at the same time too, because there are a lot of facts here. And even though I did the first video on this almost a year ago, there's been a lot going on, and I'm just really trying to take some time now to bring us all up to speed, help us understand the facts of this litigation, how things are moving forward. And I'm going to continue to provide you with information about this. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing.